Liam Coen was hired by the Jacksonville Jaguars after one of the crazier coaching sagas that I can remember in recent memory of the sport. Also, quick shout out, Rhode Island guy. It's from Warwick, Rhode Island, former Rhode Island quarterbacks coach, URI quarterbacks coach,
like
our alma mater. So we're obviously automatically Liam Coen fans, obviously automatically Jacksonville Jaguar supporters. This situation, though, Trent Baalke was retained as the general manager. They brought in Liam Coen. He was the guy that was clearly leading the charge as the person to be the next head coach of the Jaguars after he had a fantastic year as the offensive coordinator with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Liam Coen decides to pull his name from it. Trent Baalke's fired. After Trent Baalke's fired, we have Cohen lying and telling the Buccaneers, oh, yeah, I'm just with my kids right now, but yeah, I'm going to have a quick combo with the Jaguars because he was about to sign an extension with the Buccaneers that was contingent on him not going to Jacksonville. Gets on a plane, goes, signs, boom, bang, done. I'm surprised that this changed so quickly. I'm surprised by how quickly this changed. And also, like, do we really think that Liam Coen is that much of the guy that he's worthy of making all these moves for?
I think, well, it's shocking that someone else would pull a McDonald after that whole saga in Indy. Also, I also saw Cohen's wife saying that, yeah, my kids were sick, so we did have to be with them. So technically the jury is still out, even though there is some in-home defense of that. I think first step when Cohen gets to Jacksonville, he needs to get with his brothers, make Raising Arizona 2. Anybody? Nope.
I've seen Raising Arizona, but a long time ago.
How have you seen Raising Arizona? That is so cult classic.
But it was just a very long time ago. I saw a lot of movies. Okay, we're not here to talk movies.
Yeah,
we're not.
Sorry,
stay on the ball. Stay on the ball. Stay on the ball.
That was a bit set up for you to have never seen the movie. My apologies.
I didn't understand the bit, but I have seen the movie.
I'm excited for the Jaguars, actually. For the first time in years, I'm excited for the Jaguars because I think Cohen's a great coach. I watched every play of his Tampa games as much as I could this year, and obviously every single play when they played Atlanta. He can draw up an offense. He makes Baker. When Baker first got to Tampa, he was good. He was throwing a bunch of picks. He was fumbling, which was kind of Baker-esque. This year, Baker takes a massive step up, protects the football way better, throws for a ton of yards, ton of touchdowns without Godwin, with a depleted offense for most of the year. And he maximized that Bucs offense. He had the wherewithal to understand, week 1 through 3, Bucky Irvin's not getting a bunch of touches. We need to change that. He needs a bigger role in this offense. And he gave him a bigger role, and it changed the entire dynamic of the offense. He's a guy that I think has true flexibility and knowledge of every player on his offense, on his side of the ball, to maximize the output. I think now Trevor Lawrence could put up Baker Mayfield numbers. That 5 years ago would be the coldest take on earth. Now, that's optimistic for Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion. I think it's a great pickup by the Jags.
So that's obviously where the positive angle of this is, knowing Baker Mayfield's improvement and that the Jags are hopefully going to be able to get that out of Trevor Lawrence. A guy who was starting to go down the slippery slope of being a messy, turnover-prone, mistake-prone quarterback, now hopefully being placed in the situation where he is going to be set up to make better decisions. But where I have a little bit of skepticism, Kentucky offensive coordinator for Will Levis's last year. Will Levis's last year, bad. Not good. His last year, he was a mess. The year prior to that was when he was at his best performing, and that was why he was generating the buzz that he was. Correct me if I'm wrong here, 2022 Rams offense. If I'm correct that Rams team was not very good.
That was pre-Kyron. They weren't that good. That was pre-Puka. Kupp might have been hurt that year. That was either the year he won the Triple Crown or that was the year that he was hurt.
They were 5-12 that year.
Yeah.
So that was the year, and I believe that was when Baker stepped in for that very short stint. So that was a bad year for them. And then he was also the OC at Kentucky in 2021. I forget the context of how good they were at the time. Oh, he was the Maine offensive coordinator in 2016 when we faced off against Maine, which is interesting.
They carved us up that year, I think. We did not beat
that was my
freshman year.
That was my first career start. That was my first career start. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we got carved up by them, and that was at home.
Yeah,
We played in a puddle.
That was an unfortunate one.
That is a very random realization.
How come we can't get through a show without Levis taking a shot? It's just
he sucks.
This isn't even Tennessee.
He sucks.
This isn't even Tennessee NFL. Will Levis, you're going back to scratching him.
Every adult male should hate Will Levis because of what he did to his ex-girlfriend, and then seeing those damn videos, it's like, damn,
gave her some
he had everything.
Yeah.
Well, he broke up with her. He could, obviously could have.
More power.
Any normal guy would have kept her. I forget what her name is.
More power to him. You're walking around with that. Same thing when I saw Chris Evans' piece. I said, Chris Evans, good for you.
When did you see Chris Evans'?
You didn't see Chris Evans' piece?
When that dropped?
Oh, my God. Look it up.
No.
What do you mean, no?
I'm doing that right now while we're recording a show.
I'll send it to you.
Will Levis videos, though, it kind of is like, damn, man, I hate this guy a little more now. I'm kind of rooting against him.
Oh, no.
Look at me. I'm Will Levis. I got a big arm. I had a really hot ex-girlfriend, and I got a huge hog.
Yeah.
Good for him. I'm going to hate Will Levis.
Good for Levis. Good for him. He's got it all. He's a maniac on the field. I have to root for Levis just because it is so. You know what? Take that back. He had the worst commercial of all time.
We're talking about the Jaguars. The male commercial sex. We're talking about the Jaguars. Are we like a little bit worried that this is like a singular flash in the pan of success? And is it maybe that he was tied to a circumstance of banged up Matthew Stafford and that we should keep that in mind, and also tied to Will Levis and having to deal with Will Levis for a year, that the better example of his success is the fact that he was able to get Baker so right and he played so well this year.
He needs to, if he can replicate Tampa and Jacksonville, then there's no reason why Tampa can't be competing with Houston in the AFC South. If they can just draft so solidly on the offensive line, not huge flash pieces, like Tampa's running backs aren't flash. Their biggest flash piece was drafted in like 2015, and that was Mike Evans way back then. Since then, all they've done is draft reliable depth and solid players that don't play outside of themselves and play within the scheme. If he was receptive enough to how they operated in Tampa Bay and can take that to Jacksonville, just a little bit of that, because obviously teams different, players are different. But if he could do that, then Jacksonville could have some real momentum. They have a really good dynamic young wide receiver in Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah. Trayvon Walker has shown slow but solid growth as a good defensive piece. Their defensive backfield has some players. Jacksonville always has a linebacker. They need to get a running back, and they need to get some offensive linemen. Keep Trevor Lawrence up and maybe get him to a more simpler system. I think Doug Peterson had too much expectation for Trevor Lawrence after he was broken in his first couple years with goofball head coaches. So if Cohen could just come in and start speaking Trevor Lawrence's language, I think there should be optimism in Duval. That's the worst bit ever. But
yes,
I think Jags fans, this was a win. I saw enough of him this year and saw that Bucs team, who was so depleted and hurt, succeed and beat teams that they shouldn't, that it gives me hope that Cohen could do that with the full team and offensive head coach. I like that. Sue me. I am an offensive head coach guy. Until Andy Reid stops winning Super Bowls, I will become a defensive head coach priority guy. Right now, get an OC as your head coach.
They've got plenty of cap room to possibly shore up some of these holes too. They're 17th with $31 million coming into 2025. So we'll see what the Jaguars do.